Yeah, so even before going to the financial ties, the setup of the lawsuit, I think, is very important as well. In that the day before Sean Weizhan filed that lawsuit, there was this sort of famous incident where Miles went on a Voice of America, and he was going to expose, the vice president of China as corrupt, and very suspiciously. The interview just gets cut short right before it can go to air. The studio goes black. And, most people, myself included, concluded quite obviously, well, the CCP must have influenced them to stop that. And CNBC actually interviewed a number of employees at Voice of America who said that's pretty much exactly what happened. So they literally silenced him. And then the next day, there's this lawsuit. Now, as you mentioned, Sean Weizhan, part of PAX, has ties to the CCP, and as does anyone who does business in China. But if you Google his name, almost all of his public writings are defending communist China or defending, their horrible human rights abuses and trying to spin them. Then, meanwhile, Ostriger has a lot of financial ties to China. He worked for a law firm called Simpson Thacher. There was actually, I think it was in 2010, they were the #1 law firm for assisting Chinese IPOs in America. And they also just boast on their website about doing business in China. In fact, they boasted about representing a Chinese firm that was accused of stealing American trade secrets. So that's an interesting thing to brag about, but that's who he was working for. And then he has other investments just in a lot of publicly traded companies that invest heavily in China, like Blackstone, which, by the way, Pax, John's firm, had also worked with. So he's also has a conflict not only with China, but also with the plaintiff in the case. And what do you know? He ends up ruling against Miles and pushing him into bankruptcy. And that was over. He fined him, I believe, $134 million over his yacht, the Lady May, which is actually Miles Guo's yacht, not his. And Ostriger incorrectly said it was his, and then fined him like 5 times the value of the yacht.